Message Report Headline News. I'm John Kelly. A new story in the Vancouver UFO Examiner for Examiner.com reports how extraterrestrials are revealing cosmic pathways to the liberation of consciousness from within the human body by presenting UFO contactees with diagrammatic maps during their time aboard the mysterious UFO vehicles. New map-related artifacts indicating ET contact with human beings were recognized through an ongoing international study revealing contactees' unconscious secrets. These secrets were documented by a mobile media lab monitoring audio recordings in reverse to identify messages hidden backwards in human speech. Secret messages describing an ET map were found in statements from eyewitnesses to the 1973 Pascagoula, Mississippi abduction, as well as the 1998 Stephenville, Texas lights. Charles Hickson, author of UFO Contact at Pascagoula, spoke in a 1973 interview with Dr. James Harder, describing what it felt like while he was being abducted.
The only physical pain that I had is when they took hold of me there on the banks of the river. The one that took hold of my left arm, and this arm here, just instantly I felt pain, but it was gone just that quick. And then once aboard the craft, at one time, I felt the same pain in the same area again, but it was just instantly. And that's the only physical pain that I had through the entire thing.
When played in reverse, I can hear Mr. Hickson say, "The little map, I filed it, since the gray draws in it."
Little map, I filed the same degree, no, Sydney. Little map, I filed the same degree, no, Sydney. Little map, I filed the same degree, no, Sydney.
In another, more recent case, Stephenville Lights witness Barbara Gibson spoke to the Secret Message Report in November, describing possible environmental factors related to ET contact in the Comanche Peak region.
The water had been contaminated some way. Is that what you're saying?
When you say that the water had been contaminated, what do you mean?
We'd have to find out how they're testing it out with the state to see if it had changed.
When played in reverse, I can hear Ms. Gibson say, "In the sector, they hide map."
In the sector, they hide now. In the sector, they hide now. In the sector, they hide now.
The presentation of an ET star map was one of the scenarios described in the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case. Betty Hill had a dream in which she saw a map of the heavens composed of points and connecting lines. Her recollection of the map was later compared by astronomers with known star systems, as well as by crop circle enthusiasts with planets and other bodies within the Earth's solar system. There is a relationship between the heavenly map revealed during unconscious activities of UFO contactees and the diagram of the tantric chakras as described by yogis experiencing deep meditation. Calvin Parker, who accompanied Charles Hickson during the Pascagoula incident, gave an interview many years later in which he claimed that part of his abduction experience involved an introspective journey imposed upon him by the psychic influence of one of the ETs.
And she backed me up against a wall, and she sat there and she started staring at me. And as she was staring at me, it seemed like my whole life came up on a movie projector or a screen, and I started looking at everything that was important to me. I started seeing birthdays as I was a child, even from as early as 1 year old on up. I started seeing deaths that I had experienced, family deaths, and just different things. So it seemed like my whole life was just flashing before me.
From a perspective born of journeying along the spiritual path, how different is Calvin Parker's description from the experience of the Buddha during his struggles with the god of death before achieving nirvana? A. Ferdinand Harold's The Life of Buddha describes the encounter so. Mara's army was a fearful sight. It bristled with pikes, with arrows, and with swords. Many carried enormous battle axes and heavy clubs. The soldiers were black, blue, yellow, red, and their faces were terrifying. Their eyes were cruel flames. Their mouths spewed blood. Some had the ears of a goat, others the ears of a pig or of an elephant. Many had bodies shaped like a jug. One had the paws of a tiger, the hump of a camel, and the head of a donkey. Another had a lion's mane, a rhinoceros's horn, and a monkey's tail. There were many with 2, 4, and 5 heads, and others with 10, 12, and 20 arms. In place of ornaments, they wore jawbones, skulls, and withered human fingers. And, shaking their hairy heads, they advanced with hideous laughter and savage cries. It was under the pressure of confrontation with death that the Buddha recalled his past lives and overcame his attachment to fear, surrendering his consciousness to the source of all existence and establishing his mind in a state of permanent bliss. Like the Betty Hill star map, the chakras are also represented as a series of points connected by lines. However, following the chakra map leads people not to a planet inhabited by aliens, but on a one-way journey to liberation from the cycle of reincarnation, like the Buddha crossing between worlds to voyage beyond. Permanent liberation in this lifetime is possible. This is the message of the yogis. Beyond life and death, liberty from the inevitable ups and downs, existence in a state fully integrated with the infinite tranquility of cosmic consciousness. Perhaps the map incidents reveal spiritually evolved ETs providing spiritual instruction to contactees as a form of intervention in the consciousness evolution of the human species. After all, an authentic vision of the map to spiritual liberation in this lifetime could easily inspire heavenly feelings in even the most hardened abductee. The Charles Hickson audio analysis has produced results consistent with other evidence of secret UFO messages discovered in the statements of state and national political figures. In fact, the 2009 inaugural address of President Barack Obama and the on-camera remarks of retired New Hampshire State Representative Henry McElroy both contained hidden statements using words identical to those found in the secret messages of Charles Hickson. This fact is revealed when recorded comments from the speakers are played in reverse. Here is Mr. Hickson describing his concern for confidentiality while being interviewed by police.
But we talked it over again and decided we would call the Sheriff's Department, and Sheriff Fred Diamond told us to come on over there, that we'd talk about it. So we stayed there for several hours talking with them and them questioning us. And the sheriff promised me that it wouldn't any news media know anything about it, that he would try to get it to the proper authorities, if he could find out who the proper authorities was, and have it investigated.
When I play that backwards, I can hear Charles Hickson say, "They knew an alien."
They knew an alien. They knew an alien. They knew an alien. The sheriff promised me that it wouldn't any news media know anything about it, that they knew an alien.
Here is Mr. Hickson's description of seeing the UFO for the first time.
So I don't know what attracted my attention, where I had reached around and get more bait, which was sitting behind us, or I heard some kind of zipping-like sound, like air or steam or something escaping from a pipe. And as I turned around, I saw some 2 blue flashing lights, or either pulsating lights, I'm not sure.
Played in reverse, I can hear Charles Hickson say, the saucer.
And as I turned around, I saw the saucer.
Now, for comparison, here's a clip from President Obama's inaugural address.
Even greater cooperation and understanding between nations. We will begin to responsibly leave Iraq to its people and forge a hard-earned peace in Afghanistan.
When I play that backwards, I can hear the President of the United States say, knows power of alien saucers.
This
audio evidence reveals how both UFO contactee Charles Hickson and President Barack Obama are independently using the same vocabulary in the formation of their unconscious secret messages. Both parties are clearly describing aliens and saucers through this form of communications. Retired legislator Henry McElroy claimed to have seen briefings given to President Dwight D. Eisenhower that referenced ET contact. Here is Mr. McElroy's statement.
And it informed President Eisenhower of the continued presence of extraterrestrial beings here in the United States of America.
When I play that in reverse, I can hear Henry McElroy say, "The alien, the Greys."
The Gray, the Gray, the Gray.
The term Greys is evocative of the Grey who apparently drew in Charles Hickson's star map. When I played Charles Hickson's interview backwards, I could hear him say, "The little map, I filed it, since the Grey draws in it."
Look at me, I filed the same figure, no, Sydney. Look at me, I filed the same figure, no, Sydney. Look at me, I filed the same figure, no, Sydney.
The reverse analysis of human speech recordings has been used successfully to provide clinical, forensic, and military-grade intelligence studies used by state agencies, media, and private individuals throughout the world. Results from these studies were presented to the public via marathon radio campaigns where secret messages were witnessed and independently documented by local radio stations anticipating headline news reports by minutes, weeks, and years in advance. CBS Radio and Television have featured my reporting as a radio feature producer and the subject of a #1 rated local television news broadcast. Coast to Coast AM, Fox News Radio, BBC London, Deutschland Radio Berlin, and hundreds of other shows have conducted extensive interviews with me as well, many of which are available online. My written articles have also been featured in UFO Digest, AOL News, and USA Today. The chakra diagram reveals a series of points within the human body connected by meridians. This system channels the microcosmic potential of the human body known as Kundalini. The chakra points are related to the glands of the human body and their hormonal secretions. These in turn influence emotions and behaviors. Acoustic regulation of chakra performance is achieved through the recital of mantras. When those recitations vibrate in harmony with overtones of the cosmic fundamental, the spiritual background sound of the universe, manifestations of chakra control express in that person's life through measurable control of the elements. These expressions are known as siddhis. In Tantra philosophy, each of the 5 lower chakras in the human body are related to one element within a 5 elements cosmology. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether are the elements. Photography recorded during the recitation of mantras and bhajans has captured moments of perfect control where the elements conspire to realize fantastic visions. High-resolution full-frame manifestations of divine iconic forms are easily recognized as representations from classical traditions of human spirituality. In many of the pictures, breath condensation suspended in the air is constrained to comply with intelligent designs during the recital of mantras, illuminated by the camera's flash. In other instances, the form expresses through free energy plasmas manifesting spontaneously in the atmosphere near the camera. A number of the images can be resolved by mirroring the picture frame across the y-axis. These particular images provide additional visual evidence for mirror-encoded phenomena detected in the signature of the human voice. After all, they were recorded not in silence, but while the camera operator was reciting mantras and bhajans aloud. Is it possible that spiritually advanced ETs are aware of the reality-transforming architecture within the human body and its potential to provide permanent liberation from suffering? Is it the transfer of these ideas from ETs to human beings that is contributing to reports of star maps being revealed to UFO contactees during their encounters? The secret messages of Charles Hickson and Barbara Gibson, discovered in their statements regarding the 1973 Pascagoula abductions and 2008 Stephenville lights, provide unconscious perspectives on this important and perennial question. For more information on this story, see my column, The Vancouver UFO Examiner, for Examiner.com. To book your private session and hear your own secret messages, call 1-888-453-0751 or visit yourinnervoice.com. I'm John Kelly for the Secret Message Report, and we'll be back again.